everyone. My name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice, because that is my nickname. Why Jameis Winston and Cam Newton at this moment do not have starting quarterback jobs really baffles me. Now, I understand that Cam Newton has had the injuries in the past. I understand that there are some teams that are hesitant to bring him in. I understand that, the disease, the virus that's going around right now is not allowing some teams to meet with some of these guys. I get it. I understand that Jameis Winston is not the most perfect quarterback. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. That's one of the reasons why the Buccaneers replaced him with Tom Brady. I get it. But Phillip Rivers also threw a bunch of interceptions this past year, and he had just as good of weapons as Jameis Winston. I mean, he had Keenan Allen. Phillip Rivers had Mike Williams. He had Austin Eckler, and he did nothing. At least Jameis Winston put up a bunch of points and threw for 5,000 yards this past year. Phillip Rivers was basically Jameis Winston this past year, but without the production. Why does he have a starting quarterback job? He's washed. I look at Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota got benched mid-season for Ryan Tannehill, who did nothing in Miami, and somehow he has another opportunity on another team. And Cam Newton and Jameis Winston can't get a job. It baffles me, okay? Nick Foles. I understand that he won the Philadelphia Eagles that Super Bowl. I got nothing but respect for Nick Foles. I believe he's an underrated quarterback. But Nick Foles got beat out by Gardner Minshew this past year, and he gets another opportunity. It makes no sense to me, but I'm not going to go on this big old rant about where Jameis and Cam should land and things of that nature. I'm just going to focus on Jameis Winston, mainly in this video, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe that Jameis Winston could be a great fit for the Steelers. And I do believe the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason should sign Jameis Winston, and I'll tell you why. The reason why is because there's no clear-cut future at the quarterback position in Pittsburgh. Okay, listen. Big Ben Roethlisberger, one of the 15 best quarterbacks to ever play the game of football, two-time Super Bowl champion, Hall of Fame level player. But guys, we got to call it a spade a spade. Big Ben Roethlisberger is coming off a major elbow surgery, and he is now 38 years old, going on 39 years old. I'm sorry, I don't think that Big Ben Roethlisberger for the next 2 or 3 seasons is going to be that good. I just don't see it. I hope he proves me wrong because I root for everybody, but I don't think Big Ben Roethlisberger is going to be that good once he returns to football. He might be solid, but I don't see him being a great quarterback anymore. The likelihood that Big Ben Roethlisberger returns to an MVP level is very, very unlikely based on his injury history and based on his age. And I don't think that Big Ben Roethlisberger is like Tom Brady or Drew Brees. I don't see this guy playing until he's 43, 44 years old. I believe Big Ben is probably going to play at a decent level or at a high level at max 2 more years, okay? And he might be good this year. I do believe the Steelers have a chance to rebound and make the playoffs with Big Ben Roethlisberger as their quarterback next year. And Big Ben Roethlisberger should be the starting quarterback for the Steelers next year. Let me be very clear. He should be their quarterback for next year. But the likelihood that Big Ben Roethlisberger is going to light the world on fire coming off this major injury is very, very unlikely. Let's not forget, this is the same guy that contemplated retiring a couple years ago. So I don't know how much Big Ben Roethlisberger has left in the tank, and if he is going to be on the field and healthy, I don't know how good he's going to be. And let's be real, guys, we've already seen it this past year, okay? Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, they're not the future at quarterback for the Steelers. Maybe Mason Rudolph makes this huge leap in the offseason. Maybe Duck Hodges does the same thing. God bless their hearts and soul. But either way, based on what I saw on the field from Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph this past season, showed me that I don't believe they can be a game-changing franchise quarterback long-term. I don't see it. I think they are both very limited quarterbacks with very low ceilings, and I don't see anything special from either quarterback. I don't see anything special from Mason Rudolph. Don't see anything special from Duck Hodges. And let's be real, if the Steelers had any competent quarterback play this past year, they probably wouldn't make the playoffs. But unfortunately, Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, they couldn't get the job done. So you got an aging starting quarterback in Big Ben Roethlisberger that might not play for much longer. And if he is going to play, he's not going to be that good when he plays. And you don't know what you have in your future in Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. Now, maybe the Steelers go out and draft a Jacob Eason. Maybe they go out and draft a Jalen Hurts. Maybe they do so. I don't know. But what I will tell you is that I believe signing Jameis Winston is good for both sides. It's good for Jameis Winston, and it's going to be good for the Steelers' future. And by the way, I do want to apologize to Big Ben Roethlisberger and Steelers Nation just really quickly. When Big Ben Roethlisberger first got injured, I said that Mason Rudolph was the clear-cut future for the Steelers. As you heard from what I just spit it right there out of my mouth, that I'm wrong. Mason Rudolph's not the future. I was very high on Mason Rudolph coming out of Oklahoma State. I felt he was going to be the future and take over that franchise, but I don't see it. So I apologize to Big Ben Roethlisberger, and I apologize to Steelers Nation for those people that got on me about saying that Mason Rudolph's the future, that Big Ben Roethlisberger needed to retire and be cut once he got injured, okay? But either way, I was wrong. But let's talk about Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is 26 years old. The guy still has some good football left in him, in my opinion. He's only going to get better in my eyes. And I understand that the turnovers are an issue. I get it. But I do believe that a guy like Mike Tomlin can get the best out of Jameis Winston. I don't think that Jameis Winston was the best fit for Bruce Arians' offense. I think that he fit in. But what Bruce Arians asked Jameis Winston to do was throw the ball 35 to 40 times each game. And I don't know if I want Jameis Winston doing that. I want Jameis Winston taking shots down the field and being aggressive because he has one of the best arms in the NFL. But at the same time, he's mistake prone. You want to run the football. You want to limit those mistakes. You want to scheme up some things to make it very simple for Jameis Winston. And I do believe Mike Tomlin is one of the 4 or 5 best coaches in all of football right now. And I do believe his philosophy can get the best out of Jameis Winston. Let's say Jameis has to sit for a year or two behind Big Ben Roethlisberger. I believe he can learn from a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a future Hall of Famer in Big Ben Roethlisberger, and I believe he can clean up some of his mistakes and be unleashed eventually. Also, I believe Jameis Winston is going to be pretty cheap. You know, you look at quarterbacks in today's game, Dak Prescott might get paid $40 million one day per year, okay? Jameis Winston, the fact that he's not getting jobs and a lot of calls from a lot of teams, he's probably going to play for whatever you're willing to pay him. So I think that you can get Jameis Winston on the cheap, and he will not take up much of your salary cap if you sign him. So he's a cheap option. And again, if you have Jameis Winston sitting on your bench for about 2 years, that guy's still going to be 28 years old when he steps on the field for you, when he's actually ready to start. So I think that Jameis is a young guy that has a lot of potential, has one of the best arms in all football. I believe Mike Tomlin and Big Ben Roethlisberger can really help out Jameis Winston. The Steelers have a great offensive line. Mike Tomlin loves to run the football, so he won't be asked to throw the football 35 to 40 times like Bruce Arians asked Jameis Winston to do this past year in Tampa Bay. And let's be real, where's the market for Jameis? A lot of teams already have their starting quarterbacks, and the teams that don't have their starting quarterbacks will most likely pick one up in the NFL draft. So I believe the Steelers are the one team that Jameis Winston can go to and potentially succeed down the road and become a starting quarterback once again. And like I said, I believe Jameis is a starting level quarterback in this league. And I do believe potentially the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin can get the best out of him. I really do firmly believe that. I believe it's a great situation for Jameis. It's a great situation for the Steelers organization as far as, building their team for the future and, planning ahead so they can have a great franchise quarterback in place for when Big Ben Roethlisberger does potentially retire or when his play falls off. Jameis Winston can be right there. He can learn the playbook. He can sit behind Big Ben for about a year or two maybe. And I believe Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers can be the one team that really turns Jameis Winston around. And I do believe Jameis Winston is a hard worker. Jameis Winston roughly a month ago said that if I cut down on my turnovers, I'm going to be the best quarterback in football. And I don't know if he'll be the best quarterback in football if he does cut down the turnovers, but he might be right. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL if he just unlocks his full potential. There's still something special, I believe, that is left in Jameis Winston. I believe Jameis Winston can save and turn around a franchise. I still believe there's something left in him. I believed in him coming out of Florida State. I said there's some special leadership intangibles that Jameis Winston possesses, and I do believe he's had those leadership intangibles in the NFL up to this point. He just needs to cut down those turnovers. It's a question. It's a concern, but I do believe that he has the potential to still become an impactful quarterback in the NFL one day. It didn't quite work out in Tampa Bay, and maybe Jameis Winston needs another scenery. Maybe he needs another team. Maybe he needs a fresh start. Drew Brees, he didn't work out in San Diego. He goes to New Orleans, lights the world on fire. I do believe Jameis Winston, once he puts it all together, he can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I believe he still has a boatload of potential left in him that he needs to unlock. Now, he does need to cut down the turnovers. I will admit that. But I do believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are the one team that can really get the best out of Jameis Winston. And I do believe if Jameis Winston signs with the Steelers, it'll be great for both sides. Be sure to comment where you agree with me and disagree with me. Love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.